Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Tom Spark. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about what is the best VPN for a media server. What is the best VPN to anonymize your torrent traffic so that way your activity is protected. In this video, I'm by no means encouraging piracy or anything like that. This video is just for educational purposes and use cases. All right, guys. So I've made a really cool chart to kind of illustrate, how we could find the best media server VPN. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into that. Here it is right here. All right, guys, so here we have the little diagram. This is your little media server. Now, if you guys don't know how to set up a media server, I've already made one video that has a very good introduction to all the foundational elements you'll need. And I made several other videos talking about how to take that a step further, how to use stuff like radar, sonar, indexers, and those kind of things. So you could pretty much just search and find torrents or whatever. You could even queue them up on Discord and various other things to automatically download whatever you want. All right, guys, so with that in mind, what is the best media server VPN? Well, first of all, let's go ahead and talk about what you're going to need from a media server VPN. What exactly makes it the best? Well, I've kind of narrowed down a list of different things after reviewing almost every single VPN in the last 8 years. These are the things I've narrowed down to be the most important. One important thing is remote VPN features. Now, if you don't know what this means, is some VPNs, really only like one out there, let you kind of like set up a local area network so you can actually remote into your network and watch your content away from home if that VPN is connected. So that's a very cool feature, and not really any VPN offers this feature except for one. Mulvad kind of lets you do it from a kind of a partnership with an external service, but it's not actually built into the application like what I'm discussing, and available on multiple apps, very easy to use. So that's really what we're looking for. Next up, we want to look for fast speeds. You don't want your torrenting traffic to be impacted by speeds whatsoever. We're looking for 100 plus servers in different locations. So no matter where you are in the world, you'll get fast speeds. Generally for me, I like to see no impact from speeds nowadays, or maybe even a 1 to 2% improvement in speeds, which is definitely possible if you pick the right VPN. So definitely something that's very important. Next up, we could talk about a no-log audit. This is something that's also very important. You want your VPN to prove that it does not collect logs from an external third party. If they have not done this, there is not really a way to actually tell besides just taking them at their word. So definitely a very important thing to check for. Next up, does your VPN conduct transparency reports, show DMCA requests, and various other things? This is a very important thing that I've kind of been looking for more lately, just as a way to kind of ensure a VPN is taking transparent steps to ensure that you feel safe. Next up is a bug bounty program. Does your VPN have a bug bounty program where hackers could submit bugs and get paid for it? This dramatically increases the security of VPN, and the more active the bug bounty program is, chances are the more secure the VPN will be. The bigger the VPN is, also the more secure it can tend to be, because more hackers are trying to hack it and thus make it more secure. So it's kind of a good thing to have a big VPN that has big bug bounty program as well. Next up, a SOCKS 5 proxy. If you don't know what this is, not a big deal, but essentially some VPNs offer a service where you can just kind of copy and paste your URL into your Qubit torrent application, log in with your credentials. You don't even have to worry about turning a VPN on, and it'll anonymize your traffic as is. So definitely a nice bonus feature there. Next up, you want a VPN that is cheap long-term. If you're going to be buying it for 2 years or something like that, you want to get a good price. Usually turn off auto renewal, and then after 2 years you could get another really good price, and that's how I recommend doing it. So I always recommend to do that. And like I said, if you use my links in the description down below, I'll discuss the VPN. I'm going to be saying that kind of fulfills all these requirements, but you'll get a discount too. So really come back to the channel, use the links, turn off auto renewal, and then come back. We'll both benefit. You'll get a cheap deal long term. You won't have to pay increase in price, and I'll also be able to keep doing videos just like this one. Next up is easy to log into devices. Some VPNs actually just kind of let you use your phone. So if you're on the TV, you can scan a QR code, log in that way. You might have seen something like this with Apple, various other things like Google, and some VPNs actually have a very easy way to log in just like this. And I really like that. It just makes it very easy to log in on external devices like an Android TV application. Next up, multi-platform. Kind of going into my last point, you want a VPN that supports almost every single application, whether that be Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV. This makes it very easy to connect to your VPN, especially when using stuff like remote VPN features, having your VPN on all devices. Unfortunately, not every VPN is truly multi-platform. And like I said, this means Apple TV, Android TV, Fire Stick, and so on, these kind of things that are very useful for media servers overall. Lastly, we want the application to just be easy to use, fluid, intuitive, and so forth, not be annoying to use, not take a long time to connect, disconnect, not have an outdated user interface. We just want the application to be updated a lot as well, to be secure and reliable. Some VPNs are only updated like 1 or 2 times a year, which in my opinion is not enough to guarantee security. Some VPNs are updated 2 to 3 times a month, and that's really what you're looking for. So honestly, I could add that as another thing too. Let me just say, always up to date. We can add that as well, since I just kind of forgot to add that one. So there you go. That's also a very important thing, to have an always up-to-date application. So guys, let's go on down the list. What are some examples of some VPNs that maybe don't meet these qualifications here? What are some examples that maybe VPNs you might not want to use, at least according to my very, very strict criteria? Of course, you can use these VPNs if you want to, but again, it doesn't meet my strict criteria of what I believe is the best media server VPN. And if you like the sound of all these things, you're probably going to agree with me. We could take it something like Molvad. Now, Molvad used to be one of the most favorite kind of VPNs to use for people who really do care about privacy, especially on places like Reddit. One reason is because it was one of the few VPNs that supported port forwarding to optimize torrent speeds even further. Now, I don't actually believe port forwarding is mandatory, since some of the fastest VPNs out there don't provide it, since it does kind of make more issues for VPNs, since people are hosting things more with it. So unfortunately, the fastest VPNs don't offer this feature. Molvad was one of the ones that did, even though it wasn't the fastest VPN, but they took it down. So it hasn't been as popular lately with torrenters. That said, is it a good choice for a media server VPN for torrenting and stuff like that? Well, like you can see here, it doesn't meet all the qualifications. Molvad doesn't have an application for Apple TV. I don't think it has one for Fire Stick. It's not as easy to log in on all devices as some VPN providers. It doesn't have any long-term deals. You have to pay month to month over 3 years. It does get quite pricey. It does have tail scale kind of partnership, but it's not really built into the VPN as easily as some other VPNs might have. The speeds are pretty good for what it is, but really they don't have as big of a server network as some other VPNs, since it is a smaller VPN provider. Outside of that, they are pretty solid for some of these things, but again, it's just kind of missing too many things here for me really to recommend it as a media server option. Next up, let's discuss TorGuard VPN. Once one of the best VPNs on the channel, has dropped dramatically for various reasons, which you can find in my latest review. But are they still a good option for a media server VPN provider? Well, they will tell you. Anyone that says no is probably lying or shill or something like that. But I don't really think that's the case with TorGuard. I think it really is not the best media server VPN nowadays. They have some remote VPN offerings, but it's an external service you have to pay for extra, and it's very complicated and hard to use. And even their kind of website and management portal is just kind of using a basic template for these kind of things. It's not like a custom designed interface like some other VPN providers offer integrated within the application. So that's something to think about. It's not quite as easy to set up. I've made some videos on it, but honestly didn't make many because it's just too much of a headache and it is an extra fee. They do have pretty good speeds for what it is. They don't have the biggest server network, but it is a pretty fast VPN provider. They do provide SOC proxy, and it is very cheap long term. But what are the bad things? Well, they've never ever done a no log audit. They say they don't collect logs, but they have not proven from a third party that they don't, like some other VPNs out there. So that's something some people would like to see. It's not as easy to log in here as it is with some other VPNs. You just have to do the traditional email password kind of thing. There's no QR code to kind of log in and everything like that. They haven't done any transparency reports like other VPNs. It doesn't have an application on Apple TV. Kind of a funny thing here. So I've seen people posting asking for Apple TV, and then I'll be scrolling through Reddit or something like that and be curious what the answer on that was, and then the post will be removed. Sometimes TorGuard does let posts like asking for features to stay up on their subreddit. Sometimes they delete them. I don't know what's going on there. But at the end of the day, they still don't have an Apple TV application. So if you're someone who's a stickler for every platform being available for the VPN, TorGuard is not going to be the one to use. The application is not as easy to use as other VPNs. It's quite clunky. In fact, nowadays, the GUI hasn't been updated for a long time. The application on Windows has not been almost updated for a year, which is not good in my opinion for security and just reliability. So that's definitely something to think about. Connection times are also slow. The mobile applications are better, but again, I would like to see more updates. Like I said, always up to date is the thing I'm looking for, and that's not really something, as well as kind of the easy use. They do have a bug bounty program, which is good. But outside of that, a combination of these factors, I don't think it makes the perfect VPN for a media server. Next up, we can talk about ExpressVPN. This is another popular option out there. Where do they fall short, in my opinion? Well, just from my strict set of criteria, I think they don't have any remote VPN offerings included, making it so you could remote into your network to access your media server. They don't provide a SOC 5 proxy. It's very, very expensive, and I wouldn't say it's even cheap long term. The speeds aren't really quite as good as other VPNs nowadays, but they do have some of these fundamentals. But again, they're missing, a good amount, so not really recommended. And also for the price, it should really be better. So what is my recommended option there? Well, NordVPN. And again, my link for Nord in the description down below will give you an extra month and discount on Nord. If you don't want to use my link, you don't have to. Just go to their website. This video is not sponsored, so if you don't use my link, I will make no money. And if you don't like it, you could do a refund if you want. I'm also an affiliate for other VPNs too, so just know that I'm not like shilling just this VPN only. I'm also an affiliate for other VPNs and do recommend them for individual use cases. Just NordVPN specifically for media server management and stuff like that does fit perfectly. Is it perfect in every way? No, not. It doesn't get the perfect VPN score, but I do believe it is the perfect option for a media server. And why is that? Well, look at all the check marks here, guys. It fulfills every single one of these requirements. Number one, remote VPN feature offering. It has Nord Mesh, which is built into the application and applications on stuff like Android TV. So if you're not home, you can turn on Nord Mesh and access your media server with an Android TV box in a hotel or a different house, or even share access to your friend. That is really cool, and no other VPN offers that, hands down. Additionally, it's got one of the biggest server networks out there with 111 different servers, which is almost twice the amount of TorGuard and other VPN offerings out there. So extremely fast. The last speed test I did, it didn't impact my speed whatsoever. It even increased my speeds by like 10 megabits per second, which is crazy to think about. They've done 3 of 4 no-log audits, which means they're definitely not collecting logs. They publish transparency reports now, which is very good for transparency. They have one of the most active bug bounty programs in HackerOne, hands down. Lots of testing and penetration tests, which means it's a secure VPN provider. They do provide SOC 5 proxy integrated with their VPN offering for free, so that's a very nice bonus. For long-term deals, it's very cheap. Be careful with this one though, guys. Like I said, you don't want to subscribe month to month, and you got to be careful every 2 years or so. If I were you, use my link, get that discount, turn off auto renewal, 2 years, come back here, get even a better deal. And that's the best way to do it. You'll save some money and it'll help support the channel too, which is a win-win. Next up, it's easy to log in on multiple devices. Go onto your Android TV stick, scan the QR code from your phone, log in. There you go. That's as easy as it is. Apple TV application. I do believe it was probably the first VPN or one of the first ones to install and make an Apple TV application. I think IPVanish and Hi.me might have been first, but NordVPN probably made the best one and arguably one of the quickest ones too. And it has a very easy to use application as well. So in my opinion, that makes it the perfect media server option. Some of the caveats, like I said, you really got to be careful about the pricing after you subscribe and get that really good deal. Turn off auto renewal, come back, like I said, for another discount, and you will really have no issues with this VPN. It's fast, it's transparent, there's no log audits. The Nord Mesh feature is really, really useful for media servers, makes remote access a breeze, where that's not possible with any of the other VPNs, except maybe something like Molvad that kind of integrates with Tailscale a little bit. But again, they're not really a perfect VPN in my opinion compared to all these different things. All right, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments down below, and I'll see you again very soon.